We are live.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Real Estate and Rosé. I'm joined by Cody and Natalie. Cody and Natalie, say hi to the crowd.
Hey, everyone.
So we're gonna dive deeper into real estate investing, but now we're gonna talk about overseas investing and how to properly set up your structure so you make sure that you get yourself asset protection, tax write-offs, and you're able to invest in any kind of market because there's going to be many markets that have a lot of opportunity for vacation homes, second homes, maybe a family that live, like for myself, I'm Mexican, so I have family that live in Mexico. So, if I wanted to have a place in, let's just say, Mexico City, how to structure it so then that way your U.S. income is offset by the income that maybe you Airbnb it part of the time, maybe that income gets offset. So we're going to go over all that stuff. Natalie and Cody, you want to throw it? Anything else in there?
Yeah, I'll take some.
Okay, let me jump in there. Okay, so just like Ernesto has family in Mexico, I have family in Spain specifically. And I have my mother is older, and so she needs some help. And so I'm hoping that maybe I've always wanted to retire there, hopefully at some point. And so I'm looking at this as a dual opportunity for helping my mother so she doesn't have to worry about paying for a mortgage or anything like that. But it's also in my name. The Spanish law, if my mother would have purchased the property, then at the end of the day, when she passes, all the children, so there's 6 of us in my family, we all have equal rights to the property. And so what I'm trying to do is protect my asset because I'm the one investing in this property. I'm going to be the one doing all the work. So when my mom passes, it will be mine and not my siblings' property. So that is my goal. So, and also like, for residency and stuff like that, once you purchase a property, you have better standing with the government. And then like, let's say the property, my initial property is not my dream property, but it will it can offset for like the next piece of property, which I would be my dream property. So this is where I'm looking at.
Great. And I watched recently a video of Spain. It was a podcast where two of the people I follow were talking about living in Spain, and the person that was hosting the podcast had a villa overlooking like this beautiful area in Spain, and like Spain is so beautiful. Like I never realized how beautiful it is of a country. Since you are from there, like for newbies like us that have never been there, give us some highlights, Natalie. Like what do you like about Spain? Like, is it the weather? Is it the politics? Is it the tax advantages? Is it the societal, like here in Texas, for example, right? Most people are genuinely nice, more genuine people in the South, right? I used to live in Los Angeles, and I literally just came back from New York. People on the coasts are pretentious, and they look past you and they talk past you, and they're a bunch of assholes for the most part, right? But here in the South, you have more genuine people. So where does Spain lie on that culture context?
So I'm glad you brought that up. So culturally, Spain is very welcoming, right? They're, of course, the smaller the town, the more like they appreciate the outsiders, but they don't kind of let you in, And it's interesting because the northern part of Spain and the southern part of Spain is also like 2 different cultures, even in the way they speak the language. The dialect is like up north, you have the way the Americans speak, and down south, you got the southern accent, so to speak. Spain is exactly the same way. So like Andalusia, which is the lower part of Spain, right? The southern part, that is, I feel, more welcoming, more warm. Plus the climate for me is better. Then you have the coast, the beach coast, right? Which ironically, I think when I was there in 2008, 17, at the time, Spain had the most, what they call blue beaches. That means there were more, they were clean. You swim on it. They were safe than any other country in Europe. So that was actually one of their proud moments, right? And down in the South, there's a lot more expats. So you got a lot of more British and Germans and Swedish. And so then I feel like for me personally, I feel more welcome there in the South because there's more people like me that have traveled and been around. When you go up north, Madrid is like New York. Not for me personally. I don't like that big city thing. But Salamanca is kind of like a little nestled kind of in between, right? So Salamanca is known as a university town. So that's kind of like Austin. Like if you go to Austin, you think university students, Salamanca is similar, right? But these are university students from all over the world. So you can be in the Plaza Mayor, the major city, the town, right? The plaza, and you hear German, you hear French, you hear Swedish, you hear English, you hear American. So you hear all these different languages spoken in just one little area, which is really cool. You don't get that a lot everywhere else. So it really depends on what you're looking for, what's your vibe, and where in Spain, but you can't go wrong anywhere. Overall, the people are super friendly. Politics, well, I try to stay away from that. It is a socialist country in the sense of like, me personally, when I went there and I had to get medication, since I was employed by my mother, she had a restaurant, I had access to the socialized medicine. Very different than the US, the way we do things here. So the good things, bad things, I'm not going to, whatever, everybody's like, again, where I prefer to live is different maybe than where you prefer to live. And one thing isn't better than the other. But I do like the fact that it is affordable. I had to get a refill on a medication. It was €1. That's it. €1. I'm like, okay, would have cost me $30 here. So there's certain things that definitely huge advantage. When it comes to the food, the quality food is much better because Europe has prohibited a lot of foods that are toxic that we allow here in the US. So the quality of the food is way better than what you get here. Plus it's more affordable overall. So, and I love that once you're in Europe, you can go to another country, take a train or whatever. And it's like 2-3 hours and it's cheap. You can fly. I flew from Malaga to Paris in 2.5 hours and it was like $200. Like you can't get that here. You can't get that here. So there's massive advantages of wanting to live in Europe. Massive.
Yeah, I mean, is that similar to the vibe that you experience out in Germany, Cody?
So I actually travel all over Europe. I mean, my girlfriend and I, we go all over the place. We've been to the islands just south of Portugal, the Azores, and we've gone to Portugal itself. We've gone to Barcelona, Spain. We're actually going to Madrid next weekend. So, I mean, the fact that you're so centralized in Germany, you can go anywhere that you want to go for like $100. It's amazing. So it's just a beautiful opportunity. And there's so many cultures, so many different types of diverse peoples and foods and pretty much everything you could want in a central location with the ability to travel to a different like temperature or different climate variable. If you want to go up north towards like Sweden and Finland, you can get a colder setting, but they also have a ton more daylight. Like they have a town that is like 20 hours of daylight. So if you want to live the maximum number of your hours, you can just go north. Or if you want to go be a beach bum, you can go down to Croatia and go down to like the Pebble beaches, which are amazing that we've been to before. Definitely recommend a couple of spots down there. You can go see the what was it? There's a couple of amazing film areas down there, so you can definitely go see some of those big cities, and they're super awesome. Italy is amazing, especially if you have the food and the time to travel all over the different regions. My girlfriend was just recently down south in Sicily, so I mean there's amazing opportunity. I had to work, unfortunately, government contracting. Sometimes you got to work, but it is what it is. But yeah, definitely a huge advantage living here in Europe and having U.S. tax advantages while living in Europe, so you can make all that extra money and travel as much as you want.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when I was living in Thailand, it's similar to what you're saying, Natalie, because it's so weird. Because like here, if you eat like there, they have like a lot of pasta, a lot of rice. It's not pasta, it's noodles. Noodles, rice, stuff like that. And like you eat it for like every meal or with every meal and you don't gain weight. And then here you eat it and it's like, you just look at it. I like, if I just look at rice, I'll just start gaining weight. I just look at it. I don't even have to eat it, So, but it's weird because you go to Thailand, but to be fair, I was working out like 5 hours a day in Muay Thai, getting my ass kicked. So, I mean, there was that factor, but at the same time, that wasn't all the time. So when, I would go back frequent because I've always had business partners that were Thai. Like my business, one of my real estate business partners right now, he's Thai. He's from Thailand. And when we went out, just not training, just for vacation, you eat and you don't gain weight. I actually lost weight, and I didn't even train one day. I was just walking around the night markets or going to, shopping or that time we went to go get some tailored suits because they have really, really nice tailors in Bangkok. So we were getting tailored suits and seeing the temples and everything. And it's weird because you eat the food and you can taste the quality of the food and the quality of it's almost like it's I don't know, more vibrant, more flavorful. Is that similar to what you experience, what both of you experience in Europe?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. I mean, we are a nation of immigrants. So a lot of the foods that we eat here in the US have come from different countries, right? The only thing is like over the years, everybody adds a little different and because more Americanized or whatever. But I do think it's not necessarily that we don't have good recipes and good food. I think it's the ingredients and the quality of the meats, for example, or the fish is just completely different. What they're fed. I mean, you are what you eat, so to speak, right? And so what you're fed, what the animals are fed here versus what the animals are fed there already makes a difference in the quality of the flavor of the meat. So that right there is already a change. You know what I mean? So I think that plays a huge part of it. We have great food here, but it's just not the same. And I agree with you. I also think our lifestyle here is different since you have to be in a car to get everywhere. Europe, you can walk everywhere. So you're definitely burning calories. You see people, and part of the culture, like in Spain, for example, after you eat, it's typical for people to go for walks afterwards. It is not uncommon to see people, hey, let's go for a walk after we eat. All right. And the wife, the husband, the baby, the stroller, the toddlers, everybody's walking down the street and they stop and they may have a little cafeteria and have a little coffee or a little ice cream and they keep it moving. And it's just completely different. And honestly, like their style of like living, they don't live to work, they work to live. And so there is literally a better work-life balance. And so I think maybe our stress also makes it worse for our health. Their stress level is different, so it's better for their health. So we're looking at quality of healthcare, quality of food, quality of lifestyle. All that makes a difference in how you feel. And obviously, if you look at like the age of the population, they age better than we do here. So all that I think it's a contributing factor. It's not one specific thing, but I think it's many different things.
Yeah, I mean that's the same thing I experienced in Thailand also is, especially when I was living in Bangkok. When you live in Bangkok, it's a walking city. It's a huge city, right? But it's a walking city and they have really, really good public transportation. And if you need to get somewhere that's kind of difficult, there's the scooter taxis. Yep. Just jump on the back of a scooter taxi for like $2 and then it'll take you wherever, cutting people off. You're smoking a cigarette. You're smoking a cigarette with chanclas on or flip-flops. And he's like, it's like whatever, and then you just jump off and pay him his baht and he takes off. So, it's a little different, but for the most part, you're walking. Plus, it's like 1,000,000 degrees out there because it's humid as hell, So you just go outside and you start sweating. So it's like you're burning calories just standing outside. Yeah. But for you, Cody, is that something similar? I know you're more in the countryside, right?
So in Germany, I'm definitely in the countryside. However, whenever I go to Poland, in Wrocław, it's actually one of the biggest cities over here in Poland. So there's a lot of stuff to do. You have a lot of urban area. It's still beautiful. Like there's still a ton of sights to see. There's definitely a ton of castles over here and a lot of mountains. I love hiking, so a lot of my imagery, you'll see me hiking in the mountains. I know a lot of the group inside of High Income Skills have seen a picture or two of me post that I was literally hiking. We were going to some old Neolithic ruins of an old campsite, a German heritage campsite where they used to go up pre-hunt to have campfires, join the community, have all the rituals, and then they would go hunt from this mountainside. So that was one of the amazing hikes that's just right there in Germany, down in Bavaria, that you can do over here in Europe. Plus, we have the entire Alps mountain range. I mean, so many mountains. I just absolutely love the mountains. And I cannot speak highly enough of the Polish mountains because there's so many amazing opportunities to see some beautiful, beautiful sights. And then this Poland is a hidden gem that a lot of people just don't know about. So I have to speak very highly of that. But the topic of today is Spain, and let's get back on to Spain.
Okay, so tell us, Natalie, or tell the audience a little bit of a background. I was in New York last week, so I didn't get an opportunity to hear the background about your mother's situation out in Spain. So can you tell us a little bit so the people know? Because when I teach real estate, I want people to know about the city that we're talking about, right? So like, for example, if I'm talking about Austin, I'm going to say, okay, Austin is an emerging city. I've been here for a couple of years. I see the growth already just in the few years that I've been here. But I can tell you that the east side is the next hot thing to grow, close to the airport. I mean, I've flipped a few real estate projects here in the north side and then 2 on the east side. So I've seen the merger already happening between South Austin, Buda, Kyle, all the way to like San Marcos, New Braunfels, San Antonio. Like that's going to be one whole city like very soon. I mean, it's connected by the 35. I mean, you're already starting to see developers like crazy building and building. So similarly in the city of Spain, whatever city in Spain that you're talking about with those real estate piece of property or ideal location that you're looking for, can you give the audience a little background about, you know, some of the demographics, maybe some of the median income, the lifestyle, stuff like that?
So Salamanca is where my mother was born and raised. It's our heritage. I have a lot of family there. And so I'm looking at property there for her because she doesn't want to leave her town, right? Is it where I would want to retire at? No, because I love the beach. So there is no beach. There's a river there, but it's not the same, right? Like
sounds like Austin.
Yeah. It's great, but I still like the beach. So that's my thing. But again, it's an opportunity for me because she's still alive to like help my mother out, also purchase property, because let's say the bank or the government says, hey, you can't, you're a US citizen and you can't have it just under your name. Having my mother there is a plus because she is a national. That is her country. She is from that area. So that kind of like gets my foot in the door as far as purchasing property. So I don't mind buying something that I know that I'm looking at as potential rental property as well. And the type of client that would be, I think would be great for like Airbnb or for students, right? So because the University of Salamanca is probably one of the oldest universities, I think in Spain, right? It's been there for a long, long time and it's still active. They still have students go there and they come from everywhere. It's an international university. So Salamanca is known for its historic thing with the cathedrals and I mean, Europe, you got them everywhere, but Salamanca has that, right? The charm of that. And it's a quaint, I wouldn't call it, it's not a mega city. So it's kind of like, you know, like Austin is like the cutest little quirky little state capital. Salamanca is kind of like that, right? It's not a capital, but it's not a small little rural town, but it's not a major city like Madrid either. So it's, I would say mid, right? Like Granada. I think tourist wise, people go there, but I don't know that they would stay there more than a few days, right? Because again, it's different. Like when you go to the South where there's a beach and people, then that's when you think vacation, you think South Beach. That's where property for me there would be fantastic Airbnb opportunities. Because for sure, you're going to have a lot of people going there in the summer for vacationing, for rentals and stuff. That's the perfect place to go. Again, Salamanca is a little off the beaten path. If the people that are going to come there are going to be the ones that love history, the ones that love kind of like they don't want to do that the major touristy where all the tourists are all the time. There's a small town called Alba de Tormes. That is where Mother Teresa's arm and heart is put on display. So during Holy Week, Salamanca and Alba gets super packed and it's mostly Roman Catholic. So it gets very, very, very busy during that time. Like even the week before, Holy Week in Spain is no joke. It's awesome. I mean, to go visit it is really very interesting. But the demographics there, now it's changed over the years. It used, like I said, pre-COVID, it was like a lot of international students. It's now we're talking post-COVID. People are starting to come back. I don't know. Like I was just there over Christmas. So Christmas, of course, you see people everywhere. They're shopping. I'm not sure if they were all locals or if they were people from outside. So it'd be interesting. But I know that I could rent to students, and I looked up Airbnbs there. There are some. So it's not overly saturated. So in that sense, it's a good place to invest for that as well because of that. But for me, mostly, it's mostly for my mother at this moment. If I were going to look strictly real estate investing for rental or whatever, I'd go to the South. Go to Valencia, Costa del Sol, or Ibiza. Everybody knows about that. Barcelona. Everybody knows about that. But yeah, Salamanca is a little off the beaten path, but definitely worth the visit. And I feel like the tourism there, they promoted it a lot. But if I were to have a web page with like an Airbnb, I think I would definitely convince people to come visit Salamanca, even if it's for a week.
So is that where you grew up? You said.
My mother grew up
Oh,
there.
your mother grew up.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where her whole family. I have uncles, aunties there still.
And that's where the restaurant was too. That they
No,
used
the
to have.
restaurant was down south.
Oh,
in,
okay.
the province of Cody, which there was a naval base, Rota Naval Base. Cody, I'm sure you're familiar.
Mhm.
And it was literally right outside the naval base. So we lived by the beach. So that's why I love the beach. My mom had view of the beach right there from where we lived and worked. You'd walk around the corner, boop, you're right there.
Nice.
Yeah.
I want to kind of look up. So maybe I can share screen, Cody, with everybody. So then that way I can see. Okay, what we can look at it from an Airbnb perspective to see, run the numbers to see what kind of money you could potentially make. Okay, so let me share a screen, and then you guys tell me if you can see my screen. Okay.
Put my glasses back on.
Can you guys see my screen?
Oh, you got the infinity screen. Okay, now we do. Yeah, there you go.
All right, so now that's the Salamanca, Spain. I spelled it correctly.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. I have good spelling skills, right?
Yep.
So anywhere Salamanca, let's just say
like after school. Yeah.
Let's just say end of June. Yeah. Okay. Let's just say 4 people, right?
Okay.
Okay, so what we have here is this a whole damn castle? Because there's this. Okay, so another castle. What the hell is another castles over there?
Though you got to change it. You're on experiences. You got to change it. It says 4 experiences.
No, for guests.
No.
See, this is for experiences, right?
Yeah. It's not showing you any properties.
It's just showing me. It's just showing me the
experiences. Yeah, you got to switch your. I don't know why.
I don't know why I went to experiences. That's weird. It's not what I looked up. All I looked up was Salamanca's.
Where Salamanca's training stays. There you go. Try again.
Okay, check out. Let's just say whatever. July 14th. Okay, 2 weeks. That's not too bad. Okay, so we have 182 a night, 76 a night, 150. Okay, so there's a nice little 76, 145, 141, so let's just say around $126. As a matter of fact, here's 126 right here. So let's see what this gets you. Okay, so the average price is, from what I'm seeing so far, is about $125 to $140 a night. Okay, so with this property right here, let's see. This property is uniquely designed. I mean, a lot of colors.
What is that in the background? What is that? A person? A mannequin? What is that?
A mannequin.
I think it's a security robot that's going to come in. If you're too loud, it comes to life and it shuts you up. So it's obviously designed for touristy. It looks like something out of the 70s or I don't know, some kind of Austin Powers movie. You know?
Yeah.
Definitely got that vibe.
You got this crazy mannequin thing right here. I don't know how they get down in Spain, but maybe they're a little freaky.
I mean, they're pretty progressive. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, nudity is not frowned upon in Europe. So
yeah,
in the commercials, nude people all the time. I grew up with that, even kids. So it's like, eh.
So this looks like the living room and the dining room. Okay, so it's not very big, right?
No,
not a very big spacious space.
Properties in Europe are not very big. There's not a lot of space.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're gonna find a lot of they're more compressed. Like New York, everything's a little bit on the smaller scale.
Right. So I'm just pointing out for the audience so they can see when they're looking at Airbnb listings. So not very spacious living room. Maybe it's just quite literally a couch, a little love chair. I imagine the TV would be here on this wall. Mm-hmm. This is the dining area. Looks like it possibly can seat up to 6 people. Yeah. Okay. Sure enough, the small ass TV right here. Yep. The bookshelves. This little mannequin. Another mannequin. So they're like mannequins, apparently.
That's creepy. Could you imagine being drunk and walking in and getting?
That's bad news for me.
Jeez.
I think Cody would take him out John Wick style, huh, Cody? Okay, so
we get it. That's the bathroom.
Sheesh, this is the restroom. Very unique sink that they have here. Very unique mirror. Probably fake plants. So it's it's decorated. I guess
Uniquely. We'll just
very uniquely. Let's just say. Very different from the modernist that we see in a lot of American stuff, which is kind of cool because I mean, if you're American and you're going overseas, is different, right? You don't want to see the same stuff as you see here. That's the whole purpose for experiencing different cultures, if you would, right? So, okay, let's see the next one.
Oh, that's cute.
That's kind of cute. Yeah, it's a very little shower, very tight. A lot of my large Texans would not probably not be able to fit inside this shower with their sweet tea and other stuff, but you know, it's
definitely one person at a time.
Yeah, this side table looks almost as big as the shower. I don't even think it'll fit inside there. Look at.
That's actually pretty standard for over here.
It really is. It really is. This is very standard for Europe. Actually, that room looks big.
This is a pretty big room, high ceilings, just regular bed, older lighting fixture. Instead of, I guess they don't have blinds; they just use this red.
So those are curtains. The blinds in Spain, they're called persianas, and they're literally inside. They're like this wheeled. It's massive. And you pull this little thing out, and and you can go. The room will be black, like it completely blocks the light. And then you can open it up, and then there's a little bit or a lot. So you don't need actual blinds. They're like in blinds in the window kind of blinds. It's a very unique European thing.
They're called Rollada in Germany.
Yeah, persianas in Spain. Yeah, and they can kill you. Like if you let one go fast and you're underneath one, they're like, like it's
they're heavy.
Like no lie, like it hurts. They'd be like, "Hey, take a look at the window," and you look out the window. I'm like, ah.
Okay, so they have a decor wall as we call it.
It's a mural. Looks like a mural.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. It looks kind of like graffiti, but it also looks like a mural. It's weird.
Like a tile. It might be a tile mural.
Yeah. That's unique.
Yeah,
and then another.
I think it's an artistic person put this one together.
Yeah.
An autistic or artistic?
Artistic.
Oh, okay. Just kidding. So here's another sitting area here. Okay, the mirror, full body mirror. So you check yourself out before you step out the door.
Yeah.
Okay. Another unique mirror, artistic mirror.
Yeah, I think this is an artistic.
Or painting rather.
Yeah.
Okay, key holder. That's pretty cool. I like that.
That's very cute. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this looks like a bed, either like a bed or like a futon kind of thing.
No, a day bed.
A day bed.
Yeah.
Because Europeans can't stay awake, all of the day.
Yeah, like your sisters, man. Hey, siesta is a real thing. See, they do close siesta in Spain. They do.
So can you? Well, let me finish these pictures, and you can tell us what the whole thought process behind it. So so little study desk, little light. Okay. You're looking outside. Okay. So it's obviously on from what you see out here, it's obviously on the second story.
Second or third. You can't tell until you go further.
You can't really tell, but it's not the first. That's what you can tell. Right.
It'll explain it. It should explain it in the description. Yeah, this is an artistic, definitely artistic. I think if we read the description, it would probably say something to that fact.
Right.
Yeah, look at that stove. Look how tiny it is. See, that's typical.
Really tiny.
That's typical.
It looks like a kitchenette,
Yep, pretty much. Especially for Texas standards, it's tiny.
For American standards, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this person definitely is a artistic person for sure.
Kind of cute.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really nice hood. They have all the
range. You got a little microwave.
I like the difference of the color schemes, like the orange and the blue. Yeah. Just because it's so different from what we're used to here and in America, Another day bed? No, it looks like regular bed. Okay, so it's a 3-bedroom. 3 people can sleep here.
Yep.
Or 6 people. Okay.
There's the door.
Old school door.
Yep. Typical. These doors are solid, dude. They're no joke.
Yeah. They're beastly.
They have like this security system. Like when the keys don't look like normal keys, they have like little holes in them. You put them in, it's like shapoom, 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 and these like steel bolts go left and right, top to bottom. I mean, it's ridiculous. So you look at, if
So-
you're tired of seeing the same old tourist apartment.
Yeah, tourist apartment with white walls. Yeah, and
Yep.
IKEA furniture. Then you travel beyond monuments and churches. Traveling is synonymous with taking advantage of life. This is your apartment. All the comforts, just 20 meters away from the major plaza.
That's the
With the
plaza that I
rebel
told
and
you
the
about.
regal touch that characterizes you. Yep. Nice. Okay, so yeah, I mean the description fits well.
Oh, look, it talks about Salamanca in the description too a little bit.
Does it? Let's see.
Yeah, I think so. The space is located central pedestrian street, 20 meters. What does it say? Okay, the comforts of living in the center of the World Heritage City. The reunion of former students. What's the university has that? Get away between friends. You still have 1,200 apartment has adult sick. So okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's in a centralized location,
Yeah.
downtown,
Yeah.
safe. It looks like there's a lot of access to everything. Let's see if there was a. So yeah, I mean,
that's like literally downtown,
central.
and that's where everything's concentrated.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get much more central than this. So this is really for $126 a night. You want to have a unique experience. This might be a really good place.
Yep.
Give a shout out.
And there's the river I told you about.
Give a shout out to this host. So if you ever want to stay here, if you're looking for a unique experience, there it is. So they have a policy number. So that means all Airbnbs have to have an insurance.
The rules for Airbnb in Spain is different than here in the US. And so, I was glad to see that they allowed it in Salamanca because some cities don't allow it.
Right. Here's the WhatsApp number just in case anybody watching wants to go visit in Salamanca. Stay here.
Yeah, Salamanca is definitely very, very fun and unique place. And the funny thing is like not a lot of people know about it, but you get such a great experience going there, the visit there.
So it has all 5-star reviews, which is good.
Yep.
Boris sounds like a European. Yeah. Great option in the heart of Salamanca. Colorful decor makes the apartment special. Double windows protect the street noise. Quality of amenities and furnishings relates well in the price. Good communication. Okay, good. So that's good. I don't know what this says. I'm not even going to try it. Nice color. Maybe can you read it, Cody? What does it say? This looks like some German shit.
It might be German, but I can't read it. I have no idea what that word is.
Nice and colorful, original apartment, great location, very well located on the listing. Apartment with original decor, blah blah blah. Okay, so everybody likes it. Unbeatable location. So maybe $126 a night. That's not bad.
No.
Plus a week. Plus they're giving you a discount if you stay weekly. So that's good. AC. So let me ask you. Most of these places, would you imagine, since they are older construction, are they going to have like window units? They're not going to have central air and heating.
So this is not. See how it says AC split type ductless system? These are individual AC units in the rooms. It's very different in Europe than it is because these are older buildings and they were not built for central AC unless you go into like a new building. But anywhere city center, not going to have it. So these are literally they're really cool. They're really compact little units that go up in the wall. They have remote control and it just goes up and down and turns and then it shuts off when you need it to shut off. So it's kind of like a fan AC unit.
Okay. Go ahead, Cody.
It's the same deal in Korea and Japan. They all have those big, giant white units. I mean, they're not really giant, but they're like small units, just long, and they sit up right above a window.
Yeah.
That's what they have in Thailand too.
You sit up in any corner that you put it in. But yeah, they're compact, they're small, but I like the versatility that you can put them depending on what room. So not that all AC is running in every room if you don't need it to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what they have. That's what they give you in Thailand too. From most of the places.
Yeah.
Bath. You get a hairdryer, Cody. There you go.
Oh
See?
man, I mean all this
hot water. You got hot water. There you go. That's good.
That's important.
You get a washer, but not a dryer. So okay.
They don't dryers so my experience, a friend of mine she rented a new building and it had they have these like washer dryer that are combos. It's a washer and a dryer. But she was like, these dryers are awful because think about it. If it's a washer, it would take like 4 hours or more to dry the clothes. And even then it was still kind of damp. It's customary to just line dry your clothes in Europe.
Wow. High chair. Okay.
Oh, and the voltage is not American Voltage, and you need
Right.
adapters and you need transformers.
Yep.
So, don't bring American
220.
stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this looks like a really nice place for being so centralized, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is our barometer, $125 a night.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's pretty good representation from what I'm seeing. I mean, there's others that are more expensive, others that are cheaper. So
Yeah, so I'm
looks
wondering.
like a
Yeah, depending on what it is, maybe it's shared or a whole place. You know what I mean? So that might make the difference in the price too.
right. So this $126 a night, it appears to be a two bedroom house. I counted only one restroom, but maybe there was two. But so it looks like a 2-in-1.
Typical older apartments, like the one property I sent you was a 4-bedroom, 1-bathroom place.
Mhm.
And my mother currently is renting a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom condo. So back in the day, that was very typical, 1-bathroom.
Right, but this one looks like a 2-bedroom. I'm not sure because that's what I counted.
3 bedrooms.
Oh, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath.
1 bath.
Okay, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, 5 beds. Okay,
Yeah.
so wow, 8 people can stay here. Okay, all right, I missed that part. Yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, I mean, for 8 people, you know, if you think about it, you split it
the cost
between the costs. I mean, that's only like what, $200 through $250 each person.
Mm-hmm.
That's nothing.
That's nothing. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Salamanca. Maybe we might have to go over there, Cody.
I mean, we might make a trip over from Madrid when we're over there this next weekend.
So literally, Cody, there's a bus that takes you directly to the express bus. Like if you go to the airport and want to go straight to Salamanca, there's a bus that's right there at the airport that takes you straight. 2.5 hours, you're there. It's awesome.
Well, we might have to go check it out.
You'll have to, and say hi to my mama. Like you're gonna have to bring her a gift on my behalf, and I'll send you the money to buy the gift.
Madrid's right here where this 245 is, so it doesn't look too far.
It's 2.5 hours, literally 2.5 hours.
That's not that bad.
No. But that's what I mean by off the beaten path, as far as like there's a train that goes to Salamanca also, but like if you want like those international trains, that's not Madrid is the major hub for that kind of stuff. Madrid, there's that train that takes you to Germany, France, over there. So they have these like hop on, hop off, 10-day, go through all of Europe type of things. And Madrid is like the hub, the international hub.
So that's a nice place, you know. So that's a place. $126 a night. Let's just say that's the average.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. So the only issue is that that's why I would recommend if you can buy 2 units, like a duplex, and then rent 1 Airbnb, that would be ideal, right? But I don't know to what capacity they have duplexes or triplexes out there.
They're really okay. So their version of a duplex, when you look up at properties and it says duplex means like a townhouse. It's a 2-story unit. It's not duplex like 2 houses connected. I did see that one property. They were right across the hall from each other, you know, like unit A, unit B. But then when my mother went, she's like, "Oh, we don't want this one." On the inside, it was completely rehabbed, so it looked beautiful. But even the realtor was like, "Yeah, it's on the first floor, and it's in a very narrow wall, like neighborhood." Oh, we lost him. It's in a narrow neighborhood and it's very dark. No sunlight comes into there. So I'm like, nah, not going to do that.
Yeah, it's like the family houses over here in Germany. Like everything they would call a duplex, a triplex, or a quadplex, it's all family houses, and they have multiple floors, and each of the floors has a different occupant because they were meant to be family houses. So they were supposed to have the entire family all throughout the building. And I know that's something that is like Europe wide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's very different. So finding like what we can hear, like duplexes and small little rental, like you really have to, because I started looking like maybe older hotels that were small, not we're talking big or whatever, that maybe could be rehabbed, like hostels, right? A hostel would be perfect because, you know, the concept of the hostel, I personally would never do. I think it's, you know, I don't want to share bathrooms with strangers personally. And I think people are more and more starting to become less want to share bathrooms with strangers kind of thing.
Yeah.
Especially with Airbnbs out there. Like I would completely regut, like my uncle is selling his property for 1.5 mil. And it is
Mhm.
a hostel, right? Hotel hostel. And then his house is connected to it. It used to be my grandmother's house, actually.
Mhm.
But he gave me the tour of it. It's a nice piece of property, but it's not central, but it's close to the bullfighting ring. So back in the day, that used to be considered central, right? Because everything was surrounded around bullfights. So
Mhm.
I still think it's a good property, but I feel like personally, I don't know if that's actually too much ask, right? I don't know what the market is in Salamanca to say, is it worth 1.5? Because I look at it as, and I was telling my mom, we actually got into an argument about this. It's like, Mom, I would have to like rehab the inside because he still has like those old big clunky TVs in the individual rooms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they don't have private bathrooms. A lot of the rooms are shared. The private bathroom ones are like at another end, and I just feel like they're too tiny. And like back in the day, it worked, but he shut it down in 2016, and it's been up for sale for a while, and nobody's buying it. And I'm thinking, because you're asking too much, personally. Because if I have to put refurbish, right, I got to rehab this thing, I got to gut it and do it all over again. That's a lot of money for this property. Now it's a great location and whatnot, but I don't know if I would want to spend 1.5 and then on top of that add construction cost to it.
Yeah, so that's the factors. Okay, so we looked at that Airbnb, and so from what I heard you guys say is that there's a lot of family style houses, which means multiple generations live on different floors. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so if that's correct, the thing that I would look up as an investor is, well, how long or what would what would it take for me to be able to segment that house and isolate each floor, maybe with one stairwell or whatever. So then that way I could rent out the other floors. Because if it's a vertical integration, right, that's essentially what it is a vertical integration floor by floor. There has to be a way to be able to build a staircase either from the inside or from the outside that goes to each floor and then just segment out the entrance to each floor. So you can do, like, let's just say it's a triplex. You live in the first floor and you rent out the other two above you. That way you can cash flow them, right? You can rent them out, you can Airbnb them, whatever you want to do, but there has to be a way to segment out. So I would research that, right? Because if you're going to buy a house and you know, this is the type of style of structure of houses that they have in these countries, that's the best way to do it, right? It's not a traditional quadplex or a duplex or whatever like we have here in America, where it's like each individual unit, but you're essentially doing the same thing by having each floor as its own unit, but you just have to integrate it very vertically.
But you also have to understand the laws in Europe are very different. They're very strict about what you can or cannot do. And because a lot of it is old, right, they do have like very specific guidelines. Like when I was in Spain, I was looking for a property, commercial property. The outside of the building, you can't touch anything on the outside. They have massive restrictions of what you can or cannot do to buildings because of the heritage, because of a lot of them are very unique buildings and have like all these codes. So before purchasing, definitely find out what the laws are and the bylaws and see if they would even permit something like that before you go throw money at something. Oh, I can do all this stuff. And then it turns out the city hall says you cannot.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, that's why I said you got to do your research and find out, you know, what it's going to take to do that vertical integration. Because, like you said, you know, there's even here in city of Austin, there's restrictions on what you can do, and you have to get permits. And trust me, it's a nightmare to deal with the damn city of permit department, especially in Austin, because they're inept, incompetent. As you can tell, they're not my friends. So I'm moving out of single family real estate because of such incompetence that I'm experiencing. But anyway, I'm sure in some of these socialist countries that it's going to be kind of hard, or maybe they just have certain rules that, you know, they don't want you to section off and make it an A unit, B unit, C unit type of thing. But maybe, you know, you do it yourself without opening your big mouth to say, hey, you know, this is my house. And then you just say, oh, okay, well, this is the way you could get into floor 3 or floor 4. So then that way, you know, you can still have people come and stay over, but you can separate them from yourself. So you're not living with them, right? If you don't have to, because I'm sure that those houses, not everybody could just walk in like frequent. Like there has to be a doorway from a staircase or something to get from the second floor to the third floor. There has to be, right? How else are you going to get into?
Usually it's like the houses, like the ones I saw online recently, the duplexes. It's literally just stairs that take you to the second floor. It's like a 2-story townhouse. There's only one main entrance, the front door, one bathroom probably on the bottom floor. And then the bedrooms are upstairs. It's not really divided to where you've got bathrooms on the second floor and bedrooms, and third floor is bathroom and bedrooms. It's not really divided like that. And the only thing that's like, my sister was staying in a triplex in Rhoda, and it was literally just 3 stories of stairs, whatever, platform, stairs, platform, maybe a bathroom upstairs, definitely a bathroom downstairs, but that was it. There wasn't no door. Like, it's just stairs that get you to the next level and then gets you to the next level. The bedrooms have their own private doors.
Right. So that's the ideal situation then. If you can find a place with a bathroom on the top, or like, let's just say it's 3 floors, right?
Yeah.
And you live on the first floor. If there's a way that you and your bathroom on the first floor can be segmented out, either via door or some kind of staircase access, there's something that you can do. I mean, it's not that difficult, right? But if there's another restroom that you can put on the other floor for the guests, then if it's a triplex, you can, close yourself off from them. They can have access, even if you share the same stairwell. It doesn't matter, but because that's what they do in New York too. So
yeah,
you walk up the staircase and then you have access to the second, third floor, and that's the Airbnb or the rental, and you have your own separate place. Because I mean, it's for your mother, right? She's not gonna. I don't think she wants to be climbing up and down stairs, right? So
no,
ideally, ideally she just stays on the first floor, So
yeah.
And then that way you can have. There has to be a way. I mean, I'm sure they have contractors in Spain, right? I'm sure it's not.
No, yeah, they have contractors, and I'm sure if you grease some palms, you can probably get away with some things, like everywhere else. But you also have to be careful of envious neighbors. A lot of depending on where you decide to get the property, right? If you've had neighbors that have been there their whole life, because this does happen, it's generational. They know if you are doing kind of shenanigans, and they will rat you out in a New York minute, and you can get into a lot of trouble. So you really got to be aware of like where you're getting this property, and know who the neighborhood is, and kind of like, have these people been here a long time, or if they're all like new tenants and they don't give a shit. I think you're better off that way. But if you go into one of these older buildings that have been like passed down from generation to generation, I would steer clear from that, from doing any kind of shit.
The easiest way to tell is to go like we said go like we just did on Airbnb and see where the Airbnbs are, because if there's an Airbnb there, they have to have some kind of availability for you to do it too, right?
Yep.
So that's the way to easily define or easily see. Oh, there's no Airbnbs on the east side. Okay, well, there's a reason. There's off limits. There's like you said, there's old generational not wealth, but old generational heritage or whatever there that they don't like it. So okay, it's closed off there. Okay, well, whatever.
Exactly.
Let's go to the place where they do have, because that happens even here in America, right?
Yep.
There's like historical buildings, like there's historical buildings here in Austin that they won't let you like even change the paint color.
Yeah.
You gotta you gotta keep it all original.
Yeah, same theme, same color, same everything. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's definitely a thing. But when you invest, the other aspect to it too is so again, you got to do your due diligence, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not sure because I've never invested in Spain, obviously. But my partner has invested in Thailand, and when you invest in other countries, it's obviously much better to have a person from there secure the loan for the property if possible, because they're going to get a better rate than you are, right?
Yes, so you're right. Yep.
So if your mom's going to get the loan, the smartest thing to do is the same thing that we did in Thailand, which is the LLC here in America. You open an LLC here, and that LLC owns the LLC in conjunction with the person that lives over there. So like it's like a 50-50 split, and then that LLC owns the property. So then that way there's a trackable trace to say, oh, okay, well, this person owns this house. They're from Spain. They have I don't know what the Spanish people call it. I don't know if they call it an LLC, but they have an equivalent to an LLC.
Sociedad Anónima. So anonymous society is what they call it. It's an LLC.
Okay. Anonymous society. Okay.
LLC. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that actually sounds way cooler than LLC.
Anonymous society. I know, because my parents put their business as whatever S.A. You see that a lot after something.
They're like, what's that? It's anonymous. Don't worry about it. Right?
It's anonymous. Don't even worry about it. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Why are you asking questions? What are you, a cop? Get out of here. But yeah, I mean, if you can open an anonymous society, and let's say you do. Because anonymous societies, just like LLCs, they're assignable, meaning you can sell stock or give stock away to another entity, right? Either a person or a business, whatever. So let's just say your mother created an anonymous society, and that anonymous society was used, and they don't even have to. So like in America, what you can do too is a lot of people that want to use like first time home buyers or personal loans to get into a house because they have to put little down. You can buy the property, so the debt is secured, the financing is secured in your personal name. So the person that owns the debt is on the house, but then the house is deeded, and the title is deeded to the LLC or the anonymous society. So the anonymous society owns it, but the debt is serviced by the individual. And then you can assign or sell, or just sell. You can sell for $1. It doesn't matter. 50% ownership to the American LLC, so that the American LLC now is able to take advantage of the tax write-offs, the income. It's able to share in the overall performance of that piece of property, right? So that would be the easiest way to do it, in my estimation. I mean, I don't know. I would, I'd advise you to talk with a lawyer from.
Oh yeah, for sure.
From some Spain, right? Because every laws are different, but that's the way we did it in Thailand, right? We have a national that lived there, was born there, opened his own version of LLC. They bought the property, they secured it, because in certain countries, they ideally want you in certain areas too, and it's not all areas, but in certain areas, kind of like you said, they want to keep it. They want to keep Spain Spanish. They want to keep certain parts of Thailand Thai, right? So they you use that entity, or you secure the debt financing for that property in your name. You put it under the LLC, and then you sell part of that LLC to an American entity. Or in some countries, you just have an American LLC, just own the property outright and just buy it directly. So, you got to check, because if you can do that, then that saves a bunch of time, right? Because now what you can do is you can say, okay, well, my mom is going to qualify, or you, Natalie, I'm going to qualify for this loan, and I'm going to buy this piece of property, but I'm going to lease option it, or give a purchase agreement with an option to purchase to the LLC, an American LLC. So you're quote unquote selling it to yourself, right? To your LLC. So then that way, if there's a death in the family, the family member passed away. Okay, well, in the contract, there's a lease option contract. So that means that American LLC has the option to purchase the property. So now the LLC is the first in line. So it's able to navigate past, certain maybe family ties or other people trying to sue for that property, because the contract was already signed that LLC has the ability, the first right of refusal to purchase the property. So that's another thing that I would look into also, because especially if you have a lot of brothers and sisters and you don't want them involved, that's a way to get around that as well.
Yeah, that is definitely my main concern, especially if I have to use my mother's name in any of it. Then they have those rights, like legally they have those rights. So I definitely would want to get around that.
This lease option takes away their rights.
Yeah.
Right. Because in the contract, it says that the LLC has the first right of refusal, not the parents, or not the
siblings
next
or the children. Yeah.
Next to kin. Yeah.
So my next question to that is, how do you obtain financing?
Go ahead, Joe. Oh, sorry, Cody was
I was going to cut you guys off right there. For all you guys watching right there, that advice that Natalie and Ernesto just gave you, there are legal entities out there that will charge you $50,000 for a consultation to even learn what they just told you. So guys,
I paid them.
Calendly link below. There's a ability for you to get on a call with Ernesto or myself to talk about this stuff. Join the group, get in real high income skills, and learn all this for free. And then as well, once you actually get onto the coaching and everything, you can learn a whole lot more. And these are things that are going to save you $50,000, $100,000. This is amazing value that Ernesto and Natalie are talking about that a lot of people don't even know. So go ahead, get that Calendly link below, hit a like, share this with somebody, subscribe. Let's get this channel blowing up so that we can continue to put this value out there.
Yes, definitely, Cody. Definitely. Another thing that I just thought of too that you can do. So I'm going to give you 3 strategies now. Okay. I just gave you 2. Let me give you one more. So the other strategy I was thinking was that there's a potential that if in fact you are able to purchase it since you are a Spanish citizen, right, Natalie?
No, I'm not. So
I thought
this
you were
is the
born there.
unique. This is the unique thing of Spain. Okay, Spain allows dual citizenship, but not U.S. Spanish dual citizenship. So in order for me to be a Spanish national, I would have to renounce my U.S. citizenship. There's no U.S. allows dual, but Spain says absolutely not. And so when I turned 18, I had to choose U.S. or Spanish. And I knew I was coming to America to work, so there was no way I was going to renounce my U.S. citizenship when I know I need to work and live here, right? So
Right.
yeah, that's where like my mom's not getting any younger, and that's where I need to get my foot in the door through her while she's still alive and do this for her, but with her too, right? That's the last thing that she can do to help me. And because then you can get you can get nationality after you've lived there for 2 years. There's the golden visa, but you have to spend like $500,000 there to get the visa and then become a national. So I am not, on paper, I'm not a Spanish national. I'm only US. So that's been my challenge, even when I lived there, as because I had to get a visa, I had to get residency and all that stuff. So this is why I'm hoping that I can kind of still purchase a property because my mother's still alive. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so easy for me, I don't think. So I'll have to work that part out, but also the financing. So I'm glad you brought that up, because my next question is the financing, which US, when I lived in Spain, I looked at purchasing property before, and my bank was Navy Federal, and they said, we don't provide loans for properties in Europe.
Can you go big on Natalie, Cody?
Yep, can do.
Sorry, go ahead, Natalie.
Oh yeah. So when I tried to purchase property in the past, like Navy Federal, for example, they said they don't provide loans for properties in Europe. And I called a couple different other banks and they said, no, they don't provide it. So my question is, where do you get the financing? Because this is important, right? Where do you get the financing to purchase this property? Because I don't have that kind of money just sitting around in the bank, nor do I want to have that kind of, well, I mean, I want to have that kind of money in the bank, but even if I had it, I would rather not use my money. So
yeah, of course, you want to use other people's money. So,
Yeah.
so this is what we teach in high income skills: how to use other people's money. So let me tell you how the best way and the easiest way and the fastest way to use other people's money is, first you got to find out about these particular structures of what I'm saying, because there's a few different strategies that can be implemented. Right. The main strategy and the most beneficial, if it is possible, which I think it is, because it happens all the time. I mean, there's actors and there's athletes that own property in Spain and in France and all these countries. They don't own it in their names, own it in an LLC. I know that because these athletes are not retarded and they're going to protect their assets, right? They're going to protect themselves from being sued. So because I know that exists, more than likely, if it's going to be a real first world country, they're going to have some kind of policy like that, right? Even in third world countries, I could go buy a property in Colombia with an LLC from America. It doesn't matter, right? So if in fact that's the case, I'm not sure, but I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I would ask, right? There's financing here there's financing opportunities both here and abroad, but like there's people that I know in the real estate world that own houses, hotels, and like Belize, for example. Her name's Anita. She's one of my close friends. She lives in Dallas. She owns multiple properties out there. My partner Joe, he owns property in Thailand. So there's people that do it all the time. The way to do it is the easiest way to qualify for financing is to do the other thing that I said earlier, which is to find out what it's going to take to make that asset an income producing asset.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it is in fact a tri-level situation where your mother can live on the first floor and rent out the other two structures, let's just say to an Airbnb, the other two floors, and that those two floors are the Airbnb, and it's making, let's just say $150 a night, and it's rented out half the time. So 15 nights times 150, that's $22.50. That's $22.50. If it's making $22.50 a night, okay, well, depending on how much the piece of property is, that $22.50 is the monthly income that it's producing. So that can pay for a pretty significant amount of mortgage, right? Depending on what the loan is. So if the loan, let's just say, is about $300,000, there's banks out there that can do, depending on your credit, 10% down. Well, let's just say worst scenario, it's 20% down. So 20% down on a $250,000 house is $50,000, and then you would get financing through the LLC to be able to invest into that Airbnb, but it has to make cash flow. You have to make sure that it's it's an asset, because the definition of an asset is that it produces positive income after the bills are paid. That's the definition of an asset. A liability means it takes money away after all the bills are paid, and an asset puts money in your pocket, right? So if in fact it is an income producing asset, and you can say, hey, look, I'm making $500 a month on cash flow. The second thing you want to add to your presentation or add to your pitch is, what is the appreciation rate? So the appreciation rate, let's just say, for example, here in Austin for the last few years has exploded, right?
Oh, yeah.
Houses have doubled, tripled, or, over the years. I don't know if it's like that in Salamanca, Spain, but whatever the appreciation rate is, like, let's just say it's 5%, 5% a year, which is not uncommon, right? So 5% a year, let's just say a house starts out at 100,000. That means the next year is going to be worth 105, and then 110, and then so on, right? So what's the appreciation rate? So when you approach investors and say, hey, look, I have this piece of property, I have a unique situation. You can invest with me on this piece of property. After I buy two of them, they're both going to be income producing assets. After I buy two of them, a total of $500,000 net worth, I get golden visa status. And then I can, as the operator, go out and buy more income producing properties in more ideal locations. So now an investor is going to think to himself, okay, well, I can invest, I can make money. I'm not liable for the debt. It's making positive income. It's making cash flow. Okay, this is a very minimal risk investment to me because I can see all the numbers. So you would approach somebody like me who's a connector and a capital raiser and say, hey, Ernesto, pitch this to your investor base and say, who would want to invest overseas into these properties that are income producing, that have an appreciation of a 5% over a year. So the longer you keep your money in the property, the higher it grows. And then there's opportunities for other properties to buy, because eventually you're going to be able to sell that first property, and that the profits from that could potentially buy 2 or 3 others, right? So you if you really want to be an investor, you have to be able to look at all the possible avenues for not only you to make money, but for other investors to make money. Because why? Because you want to use other people's money. But other people, in order to use other people's money, you got to incentivize them. They're going to get the tax write-off of being part owner of the LLC, right? That's purchasing the property. So let's say they own 50%. Well, 50% of those write-offs that it took to fix the shower, the flooring, to do the stairwell, the door, well, half of those things that were expensed goes back to them. So now their $50,000 investment, let's just say they spent, or let's just say $50,000 of rehab was done. Well, so they're recapturing $25,000 of that back to their what they've spent, what they've invested in. Plus it's cash flowing. So let's just say it's cash flowing $1,000 a month. Well, half of that is theirs. So they're getting cash flow a year, in 1 year, let's just say it's $500 a month. They're getting $6,000 return, ROI. So they have $25,000 of write-offs. They have $6,000 ROI, which comes out to, if you invest $50,000, is more than 10%. It's higher than a 10% ROI, right, for an investor, which is very good, right? Most stocks, most mutual funds pay like 4%, like single digits, right? Most syndications, multifamily, stuff like that, they pay 6 to 8%. So it's like, if you're making 10%, you're beating out stocks, you're beating out bonds, and you're beating out most syndications. So that's how I would approach it. I would say, okay, what are the legal structures that can buy these properties? Okay, it's an LLC, let's just say. Okay, that LLC, now you identify the property. What is it going to take to convert it into both a place for my mother to live, but also an income producing asset? Okay, it's going to take X, Y, and Z. Okay, cool. And then, what it's going to take to furnish, all the expenses, furnish, rehab, security, cameras, whatever, right? Okay, so you add all that up, and then you say, okay, well, it's going to cost me $250,000 to purchase this property, and they're requiring me to put 10% down. So that's $25,000, plus I need another $25,000 to rehab, it's $50,000. Okay, I can go to an investor and say, hey, look, you're going to get you're going to make a 10% ROI every year, and that's only at 50% occupancy rate. That's not at 100, right? There's upside, right? The upside is that you can make more money, right?
Yeah.
But worst case scenario, if it's only rented out half the time, this is how much money you're going to make, which is 10%, which is really good. Plus, you're going to get all the tax write-offs and tax breaks. Plus, you have an appreciating asset. And now at a certain level, after I buy 2 of these similar type structures, I, as the operator, get golden visa status, I'm going to fly out there, and then I can do further due diligence and buy in the southern area where it's more touristy. But now we already have marketing, we have good reviews, we have a lot of things that we can leverage into the new southern properties. And maybe when the market rebounds, we can even sell this property, make $50,000, and use that $50,000 to buy property on the southern part. So that's how I would approach it as an investor.
Yeah, that was my goal, is to start off in Salamanca because of my mother, but that's not like where I want to end up. But it's definitely still worth it. And ideally, again, I want to be close to the Plaza Mayor, because that's where like the tourists and stuff like that. It's just where everything is at. So that's obviously the competition for those kind of places are going to be badass, right? But I'm hoping to find literally one that needs rehabbing, because if it needs rehabbing, the price, first of all, is going to be lower. And second of all, I can create it with the mindset of a rental and Airbnb situation, where if somebody's already done all the work, they're selling it at top premium price, and I'm kind of stuck with whatever they made it into.
So let's do this, because this will be a fun experiment, Cody.
Okay.
Maybe Cody can pull it up. So Natalie showed us the she is very tech savvy. She showed us
that was awesome. Did you see it?
She showed us an insider tip of how to connect ChatGTP to the internet, so it's more productive and faster. So why don't you type in ChatGTP and show the audience, can American LLCs buy property in Spain? See what it says.
Oh yeah, there
just
you go.
a second to get it set up.
That's actually a pretty good idea.
I have good ideas from time to time, you know.
Every now and again, yeah, right. I knew I liked you for some reason.
All right.
We need a Jeopardy music on this thing.
In the background. There we go. All right.
Yeah, I need my adapter. That's what I need, so I can actually have a mouse so I can move faster.
You gotta get a travel kit.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to, especially if I'm coming to Poland so often. I'm gonna have that travel studio.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about caps on this.
Wait, don't you have to plug in the internet?
No, he should be on the right. Did you check it? Yeah, you're on the beta. You're right. You're right there.
It's good.
Okay.
Yep.
Dang.
I know.
By the way, shout out to ChatGPT. This thing is freaking amazing.
Love it.
No, but okay. Let's see what it says. Yes. See? There you go.
However, there are several legal and financial considerations. Non-resident taxation, what you talked about, which we knew. The VAT. Yeah, I forgot about that. The VAT is ridiculous high in Europe. Of course,
it's reduced to 10% over certain properties.
For any property.
No. It says the standard is 21%, but it's reduced of 10% applies to certain resident.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so let's go through them individually. Can you scroll up a little bit, Cody, so I can read them?
Can do.
Okay, so it says yes, an American LLC can buy a property in Spain. Foreign companies, including American LLCs, can purchase real estate in Spain. However, there are several legal and financial considerations that must be addressed, including number one, non-residential taxation. If the LLC does not have a permanent establishment in Spain, which you do, so you don't have to worry about that, it may be subject to non-resident tax on delivered income delivered from the property, such as a rental income. Okay, well, we don't have to worry about that because your mom lives there, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, but she would have to open up, I guess, again, probably another like LLC in her name or something like that.
No. She would just have part ownership of your LLC.
Okay.
Right.
And well, again, I don't want my siblings to have entitlement to any of that stuff. So I just want to be clear when I talk to a lawyer that's
yeah. But just when you set up your LLC, say upon death or whatever, you just have it in the agreement. Upon death, the shares of her LLC come to me.
Yeah.
Value added tax, VAT. This is sales tax that applies to transactions in Spain, including real estate. The standard VAT is 21%, but is reduced to 10% on certain residential properties. Okay. Number three, our real estate transfer tax. If the property is secondhand property, as opposed to a new build, the LLC will be subject to real estate transfer tax instead of VAT. The rate of RETT varies by region, is generally from 6 to 8% of the property's value. Okay, the damn socialists.
I'm telling you, dude.
Registration. The property acquisition must be registered with the land registry. There will be fees assessed with the process, of course. Legal responsibility. It is highly recommended to have a Spanish attorney to navigate these processes to ensure compliance in all Spanish law regulations, of course. Okay, so scroll down a little bit more, Cody, to the last paragraph. Remember, it is essential to consult with the legal and tax advisor who is familiar with Spanish law, blah, 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 blah. Okay. All right. So, yes, it is possible. That's good. All this other stuff we already knew.
Yeah. The only concern I have, and I don't know if this may be a concern or not, is my mother's age. So when I was in Spain and she wanted to take out a loan to help me, right, from her bank, because she had a business, her business was still running at the time. The restaurant was still active and making money. So she had income. But when she had asked, hey, I'm going to help my daughter with a business and I want to provide a loan, the bank, so they charge, because she was already advanced in her age, they charge you a life insurance. You cannot take a loan without life insurance. The life insurance basically protects. It's kind of like a private loan, insurance loan that we do here. Right. So at the time that she had asked, which was years back, they were saying the amount of money you would have to pay for the insurance versus the amount of money we're going to give you in a loan won't be worth it. Like she would have to pay so much in just life insurance. I'm wondering if with purchasing of a property, if that same kind of situation would apply. I don't know.
It doesn't apply because you're opening an American LLC. You are opening the American LLC and you're giving part interest ownership to your mother. If you want to, you don't even necessarily have to.
Well, it would help us avoid probably some of the stuff by her being involved in it, right? So
right. So that would be something you would have to talk to a lawyer and see how much percentage of the ownership would she have to have. Let's just say it's 50-50. Okay, it's not a big deal. 50-50 ownership, but you both would co-sign. But since you're an American with an American LLC, then they would go off based on your debt to income ratio. Your debt to income ratio and applying for it. Right. Yeah. So it doesn't matter what she does because it's an American LLC, American financial institution with an American that's securing the property with personal guarantee. Yeah. Right. And then you'll be able to buy the property.
I live here and I'm a resident of this country.
Right. And then it actually helps your argument because you can say, oh, my mother lives there and we're avoiding this tax. So you're actually saving money on the loan. And so that's a plus for the lender, because the lender's like, oh, okay, it's less risky because now the expenses aren't so high because there's not as much taxes.
Yeah. Okay. It's definitely good thing to look at.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and let me know because maybe me and Cody can.
You're gonna know.
Yeah. I mean,
everybody's gonna know. We're gonna, as soon as I find it, like when I'm excited about something, I'm like, dude, I think I found it. You know what I mean? Then my mom is right there. She's gonna go visually go look at the property as well. So it's not just about what I see online, because what they show you online is not always everything. You don't know the neighborhood. You don't know the neighbors. Again, that one property looked really awesome. I had no idea it was on the first floor, no freaking sunlight, narrow, walkway to where it's like, no.
How old is your mother? How old is your mother?
84.
84. So you're most likely going to have to go out there yourself and do some due diligence when the times to come, times to
like if really my mom says, yes, this is a good investment, and things don't happen very quickly in Europe. So I have time to get on an airplane and go see it. Right. So I will have that time. And since I work remotely, I'm sure I can get the time off from work and be like, look, my mom needs help. I need to go there. I need a few
especially when you become a world famous author, you're gonna be able to travel wherever you want. Right? but this is another highlight about being in high income skills and in the community is that when opportunities come up like this, right? If Natalie says, hey, Ernesto and Cody, I found this property and it's gonna have all these benefits. Can you guys help me do the due diligence on it? Okay, cool. Hey, can you help me raise $25,000 for it? Maybe me and Cody might just be like, hey, we want to own property.
We want to be investors. Yeah, exactly.
We'd like to own property.
You're not stupid. I mean, I'm down with that. I think it'd be fantastic, actually, because I know you are.
I want a place to. I've never been to Spain, so it would be cool to own a property in Spain without even having to be there. And knowing that somebody's taking care of it.
So I was thinking this previously, but we're gonna talk about this off air, and I've got like an idea. Again, my creative juices go crazy. So we'll discuss this off air. And I think you guys would be excited about it.
I'm
I
excited
don't want
about
to put
any
it out there for
opportunity.
everybody business.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, maybe we'll start a podcast studio in Salamanca, Spain there, Cody.
Might as well. We'll just get one going all over here in Europe. I mean,
That'd be
there's
fun.
plenty of places.
Follow us when we go out and have some tapas.
Oh, yeah.
Tapas, paella, and Spanish wine. Is this in Spain famous for wine?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I love some Spanish wine. Spanish wine is amazing.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, so that's okay. So now you got to tell me what the hell is the thought process behind this midday nap, siesta?
The
do they call it
siesta.
over
The
there?
siesta.
This is a traditional thing that's been going on for centuries. In fact, one of the presidents, now a while ago, when I think I was in Spain at the time, he wanted to like stop having siestas because he felt Spain wasn't keeping up with business competition, right? Europeans do complain that when they go, like Germans would complain that, like, let's say they work at a bank and they're calling the Spanish banks, hey, we need this transaction approved or whatever. Dude, by 2:00, it's game over. They're done. It's time for siesta. We're shutting down. Done. And the banks don't open up in the afternoon. So if you don't get it there in the morning, you are not getting nothing done in the afternoons. And so there's a lot of these complaints from because now that Europe is like global, right? It's all like the borders are open. Businesses are having, doing things. Well, the complaint was that we can't get business done because they're shutting down and they go the siestas. And so I think the president at one point in time was contemplating it. And dude, no lie, like you could see this. Like you can go back and look at it in the news. There were people with beds out in the streets and laying out there, like that was a protest. Like, you're not taking away our siestas.
Sheesh, that's crazy.
It is like, now there's some shopping centers like Corte Inglés, some places that they are open during the siesta. Some of the grocery stores are still, the larger companies, the franchises, they're open during siesta. But if you go to, like, especially to a small town, forget about it. Get your bread, get your food, get everything done before siesta, because it's game over. And in the South where it's hot, no, everybody's on the beach. You ain't gonna see nobody. And then the stores will open up again until like between 4:30 and 5:30, depending on the store. And then they close it around 8, 9 o'clock.
So it's from 2 to 4:30, 2 to 5?
Yeah, it's like from 2 to like 4:30, 5 o'clock. Yeah, depending on when they shut down. So it's like a good 2.5 hour.
That's so crazy. Sheesh. And then they open up from 5 to 9 or something like that? You said?
Yeah. So like like a lot of the kids don't eat at school. They actually go home, eat their lunch for siesta, and then they go back to school. So the school days are also kind of longer. And my brother, who worked at a company, for lunch, he got his 2-hour siesta. So he would go home, eat his lunch. Nobody brought lunches. They just went home. They ate lunch, then they come back to go to work. But then he felt like, I'm all day at work because I don't get off work till 9 o'clock at night. So there's like pros and cons to that whole thing. But when you're like not working there and living there, it's kind of nice because it forces you to have to like live at their pace. I remember like getting up and like, oh my God, I overslept and like, I got to get to the bank and like, oh snap, the bank's closed. Got to go tomorrow. Like mañana is a thing. Like mañana. Like, oh man, we're going to get your car fixed. Yeah, mañana. Like,
yeah, we'll do it tomorrow. Yeah.
Mañana time. It's real.
It's true. It's true. That is a thing. That is a thing. But it definitely, I mean, my blood pressure went down, my glucose goes down. I mean, you kind of like learn to just adjust to it. And then you're just like, I really like this. Like, it is definitely, it's a good thing. And they like, I just read an article today about taking a 10-minute power nap at work in the US. It would make you more creative, more productive, da, 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 da. So there's a lot of like research behind taking naps.
So I'm going to have to drop off here pretty soon. So I think we can go ahead and wrap it up. We've dropped a ton of value here. Like,
yes,
Ernesto and Nat, they just gave you easily $50,000 worth of information. Like I said, there are legal entities out there that will charge you $50,000 to learn.
But this is not legal and tax advice. This is an entertainment education show.
Exactly.
Only. Make sure you consult your own your own counsel. Okay, this is not legal and tax advice. Purely education. I mean, I have experience. I have education. And I'm just sharing with what I think is right. But again, trust but verify always.
Mm-hmm.
But see, he brought Ernesto brings up ways of you to look at property and real estate that you would not consider. So yeah, maybe his technique may not work for your particular situation, but it may work for somebody else's. So the value that he brings to this is literally value that you would have maybe never even considered. And there, right there is the value as well.
Yeah. Like, did you consider some of that ownership with your mother and the LLC and stuff like that?
Well, ironically, when my mom had her property in Spain and I was going to purchase it from her, right? And she was going to be my bank, because at that time I was going to have to pay, like they wanted a hefty amount down to get a loan, to obtain a loan. It was way over 20%. It was like 40% or something like that, like at the time. And I was like, Ma, I don't have like 40% loan money to provide, because she wanted, you know, 300,000 for it or whatever. And so one of the ways that one of the lawyers said was like, hey, you know, what you could do is let your mother be the bank. So basically you write up a legal form and saying, okay, my daughter will be the person that owns this when I pass. In the meantime, she will pay me monthly this much money as a, you know, payment towards a loan of 300,000 or whatever. We had agreed upon that. She just chickened out at the last minute, or I would have already had a property in Spain, because at that time she couldn't foresee leaving that piece of property, because it was like literally beachfront property, which now I'm like, oh God, I wish I would, you know what I mean? Like, whatever, life happens. But it would literally, so they were trying to find a way around it too. So I had ran into it. That's why I had those questions in my mind, as far as like, how can I avoid, first of all, because that's the way they told me that I can only avoid like the inheritance law in Spain of, if somebody dies, it goes to everybody equally. And I was like, I'm not going to be paying into this for everybody at the last minute knock on the door like, hey, where's my part? No.
Yeah.
That's my blood, sweat, and tears going into this. So yeah, I didn't know about the LLC part of it, but I was hoping to find, you know, I knew that sometimes there could be ways to navigate it.
All right. Good. I mean, I hope that conversation helped, and I hope the viewers got some value from it.
Are you kidding me? More excited
Yeah.
than ever.
Wait, before we jump off, we have our very first comment on the show.
What? All right.
Tracy Douglas, right here at 10:29 p.m. Very first comment. We do appreciate it. He says, "Great show. I will have to get with you about these rental properties." So
nice.
Definitely,
Thank you, Tracy. Let's
definitely
do
add the
this.
value.
Hell
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Love
definitely.
it. Awesome.
What was
Thank
his
you
name?
for it.
His name was Douglas, you said?
Tracy Douglas.
Tracy Douglas. Yeah, Tracy. I worked with the Rich Dad Poor Dad company. I've been an investor myself for over 15 years. So, you know, ask away. Ask any question that you want. I'd love to help.
All right, and with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. So I hope you guys got a ton of value out of this. This is every Saturday show that we're going to be putting on. Hopefully we can bring global value and eventually make High Income Skills the biggest channel out there for all things high income skills.
Yep.
All right, guys.
All right, y'all. Have a good weekend.
Bye, guys.
Peace.
Thank you for joining us.
Bye. Thank you.